Chef Cece Payon, Monarch Magazine resident master chef, and your host for Culinary and Conversation, a live cooking experience where we create nutritious meals for your body and explore topics that nurture your mind. Conversations with some of today's top influencers, ranging from the world of politics, art, film, music, and more. Today, we have the pleasure of partnering with the incredible ladies of the Link Incorporated chapters from Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Northern Virginia, aka the DMV, to host this segment of Culinary and Conversation. Now, as we host a red dress brunch party during the weekend of National Wear Red Day, I am so excited to get the party officially started and invite our featured guest for this segment. This lady has breathed life into the culture of politics. At 25, she became the youngest presidential press secretary on record and was named in Rolling Stone magazine's list of 16 young Americans shaping the 2016 election. At 29, she published her first book titled No, You Shut Up, Speaking the Truth to Power and Reclaiming America, and served as a senior advisor for President Joe Biden's 2020 presidential campaign. At 31, she was appointed senior member of the Biden-Harris administration, serving as deputy assistant to the president and senior advisor and chief spokesperson to Vice President Kamala Harris, the first African-American vice president ever. I'm just going to point out here, based on this lady's trajectory, I believe one day she will hold this position of President of the United States. With that said, I am delighted to welcome ingenue, wonderkid, trailblazer, Symone D.Sanders to Culinary and Conversation. Welcome.
Thank you, Chef. I don't know about being president, but I'm very happy to be here to learn some culinary delights with my sister links from across the DMV area.
Well, I am so happy to have you here. I am honored. I have watched you for years. You are one of those you are a young person. I'm 50, so you're a young person. That I look at and I'm like, where do these people come from? Like, how do you have that much brilliance and stature and just, my husband always says formation. Your formation is astounding. You represent us so well.
Oh,
I am so honored to speak with you today. So
thank you so much.
Out of the way, because I like to say this is just an excuse to talk to you. But because we are doing a red dress brunch party, today we are going to be making a banana French toast. The difference with our banana French toast is that it's vegan, yet it is delicious. And some people may wonder, like, why do you need to do a vegan French toast? Well, if you're somebody who's watching your cholesterol, or if you're somebody who is lactose intolerant, this is a delicious custard-rich French toast without the cholesterol, without the lactose, and altogether delicious. So we will get to that, but now let's get back to you. You are from Nebraska, and that is not an area that most people associate with our people. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, yes, I am from Nebraska. Nebraska is actually where I was first initiated into the Links, the Omaha chapter of the Links Incorporated. My mother is a former president of the chapter. I am a proud AeroLink, and it is, frankly, Omaha is where I learned about the Links, this amazing organization of professional women who serve their community from various walks of life. So that is a key piece, frankly, of my growing up, of my coming up. I like to say that whenever I meet people, I tell people, yes, I'm from Nebraska, I'm from North Omaha, me, Malcolm X, and Gabrielle Union. So very, very proud North Omaha in here.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, and I actually do know quite a few people quite a few African Americans that are from Nebraska, and they're power to the people, and they're not, they're with it. They're with it. So so the Links in Nebraska. So, the Links are an organization that I have followed for some time, and I love to know that they are active not only in major chocolate cities, but around the nation, that they're looking for opportunities to make their mark and make a difference no matter where they are. So kudos to the Links for doing that, and then for nabbing you and your mother early on.
Yes,
So
yes.
you are one of those achievers that got started at an early age. What caused you to pursue a career in the world of politics?
So I think I've been very, very fortunate. And the thing that really galvanized me was I realized that the most powerful people were the people who decide what the message is. And I decided early on that I wanted to be one of the people that decided who put that message together. In my head, I had this vision of folks sitting around some table deciding what it is that we're going to say and how we're going to say it. And then really all a campaign is, whether you're running a campaign for president, whether you're running a campaign for governor, whether you're running a campaign in your country, whether you're running a part in your company, whether you're running a campaign, a capital campaign for fundraising. We do that here in the Links all the time, ladies. My sister Links know what I'm talking about. It's really all about deciding what the message is going to be, and then coming up with creative ways to deliver that message. On a campaign, it's how do we deliver that message to our field organizing? How do we raise money from people who support that message to help us fund literary pieces? And I wanted to be the people that help put the message together. And I realized that the people, if you really look, when I was, I'm 32 years old now, and when I first got engaged and involved and interested in politics when I was in high school, and then when I went to college, the people that put the message together didn't look like me. They were not young. They were not young women. They were not young black bald girls from the Midwest, to say the least. And that is what set me on the path. So I feel so honored to have, worked for everyone from Senator Sanders to President Biden and Vice President Harris. And I have truly enjoyed my time in politics in that capacity. And I'm excited for my new time, my new pivot, if you will. I will be hosting a show on MSNBC, 2 shows actually, on MSNBC on the weekends starting this spring. And I'll be on your televisions on the weekends. And if you're on a streaming service and you love things like Peacock, I'll be on Peacock hosting my own show there too. So I am still the person that who gets to decide what the message is. Now just on my own show.
That's beautiful. And I was going to ask about how we can be supportive. So on MSNBC and on Peacock. And on
Peacock.
What is
the show has no name yet, Chef. Okay, so I am taking all suggestions, Sister Links. So if you are watching, okay, and my Sister Links here, who are enjoying the cooking experience, y'all send me your recommendations. Okay, tweet me, message me, email me, sisters. I am open. We don't have a name yet. We're building our team, and I'm just very excited. And one of the things I'm super excited about when they said we were doing vegan, I said great, because y'all, the camera does add a couple pounds, honey. It adds some pounds. And I like my French toast, Chef. I'm gonna tell you, I like my chicken wings, I like my pastas, and I am excited to learn how to do some vegan things right here. Okay, I got my healthy champagne here that I'm drinking, my Sherilyn. Okay, it's good and it's good for you, so I'm ready.
Okay, well, what you said about telling the story it's so powerful, because anyone who has been alive and remotely lucid in these past few years, you see how narratives can be so twisted, and people will accept a narrative without even looking into truth of it. If it sits with them comfortably and it kind of affirms their beliefs, that's with it. So you going out and creating a narrative around truth, around the reality for different communities, it's powerful, because that's the only way that you can come up against those things for the person who might be looking for more information. If it's not there, where do they go?
Exactly. And I mean, we see it all the time in every space and place. How many times have you come across something on your Facebook page and you actually wonder if that's true? How many times have you turned on the television and watched a panel somewhere and you're like, do they really know what they're talking about? So at this day and age, it is really important, as my mother used to always tell me, to keep the bar high and substantive. So that is what I've always aimed to do throughout my entire career. And frankly, that's something that I appreciate about the Links. You know, this is a organization of women who care about their communities, but who are accomplished, who have made waves in everywhere from politics to business to philanthropy to the law. And we are keeping the bar high and substantive every single day. That's the Links way. So if we're looking for any new slogans for the Links, I'd like to throw that into the hat.
Well, I've seen about 4 different titles for your show that sound amazing. So look at the chat. These ladies,
we appreciate the chat, ladies. We appreciate the chat.
So let's just talk about this and let me get started cooking. So today we're doing French bread and we are using French toast and we're using Cuban bread. I like Cuban bread because it's very light and airy, but this is the kind of thing that you can use. You can use French bread, you can use Cuban bread, you can use brioche, you can use any kind of bread you want. 2 things that you have to remember is that your bread must be stale. And when people sometimes say, why does it have to be stale? Well, if it's stale, it sucks up more of the custard and it won't fall apart. If you use fresh bread, it's gonna fall apart. So we're using stale bread. And if you don't have stale bread, all you have to do is put it in the oven at 300 degrees for 8 minutes, and that will dry it out perfectly. So I went to Sprouts yesterday, and I
now, Chef, I'm sorry. So you said put it in the oven, and that will dry it out.
For 8 minutes at 300 degrees. If your bread if it's not stale. What's great about this recipe, not only is it easy, not only is it healthy, but it's inexpensive. Because this loaf, you could probably make about 5 or 6 servings, and this full recipe is going to probably cost you about $10. And when we plate it, you're going to see how beautiful it is. So it's one of those things that you can really wow people without much effort. Okay, so we've got our Cuban bread, and I cut it into about an inch and a half slices, so they're kind of thick. We want a substantial piece of French toast. And so for our custard, we are going to use just a few ingredients. We're going to use some oat milk, a cup of oat milk. You can use soy milk, you can use almond milk, but I'm using oat milk because oat milk is very creamy, and I'm trying to mimic the rich, thick custard that you typically use with traditional milk and eggs and things like that. Now, what I did do is I let it come to room temperature. We don't want to take our milk and our other ingredients right out of the refrigerator. So as you're prepping things, just put it out on the counter so it can come to room temperature. So we have oat milk. We have a half a cup of extra firm tofu. That's going to serve someone as like a kind of a binder. We have a very ripe banana because we want to give it some banana flavor. What's great about this recipe also is we're only using 2 tablespoons of sugar. That's it. And it's going to be sweet enough. 1/4 teaspoon of salt here.
Well, wait now, Chef, only 2 tablespoons of sugar?
2 tablespoons of sugar, that's it. And especially because we're adding this banana, this ripe banana, that's going to add even some more sweetness to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you know what? We're using pure cane sugar. If you want to, if you use monk fruit, if you use some other type of sweetener, you can feel free to try that as well. But this is pure cane sugar. Because we're using so little of it, I figured let's just go for it and splurge. I also a little bit of vanilla and almond extract. You can use one or the other or both. And finally, because we are cooking healthier, we're going to use a nonstick pan and we're going to use oil spray instead of butter. But I promise you, you're not going to miss any of that.
Okay.
So I'm going to just dump everything, and I'm using my NutriBullet because I wanted you all to know you don't have to have any special type of contraption or Vitamix or anything like that. You can do it in something just like this. So I'm going to pour, just don't want to spill it. We've got our cup of milk in here, and now our half a cup our half a cup of extra firm tofu. This banana is not the prettiest because it was frozen, but we're putting in a banana. This is such an easy dump. We're gonna put in our salt.
You were really cutting down on your cleanup here with this
yeah.
NutriBullet situation.
Our 2 tablespoons of sugar. And then finally, we're gonna do about a teaspoon of vanilla extract and just a touch of almond. So you can use both or you can use one or the other. Just a couple of drops of the almond. We've got our pan warming up over medium-high heat. And we're just gonna zap this.
Now, Chef, what about the vegan French toast makes it better for us?
Well, what makes it better is you are using heart-healthy, protein-rich tofu that has flavonoids. We are using oat milk instead of regular animal milk, which, you know, a lot of us have issues with lactose. And
I'm lactose intolerant, yes.
One of the things that's interesting is that we have gotten so used to certain things happening in our bodies and not associating them with the fact that we shouldn't be eating certain things. You know, we always may have a little bit of discomfort or gas after we eat something and we don't know why. And because we're eating it in French toast, we don't realize that lactose is still getting to us. So this is a way for you to enjoy that dish without the lactose. And yeah, you're getting your plant protein here. And you look at how thick that custard is.
Oh, yes. Yes, this looks immaculate.
And so that's going to really cling to our bread. But it's just healthier. It's not, you know, a lot of people don't want to take the deep dive and become a vegan, but sometimes they just want to switch out a few dishes. Or they say, okay, it's Meatless Monday. What can I eat on Meatless Monday? This is a dish that is so transitional. You can sneak it in on your family. You can sneak it in on your fiance when you want to do a romantic brunch, and he won't even notice the difference.
Really? Okay, I'm going to try this. You know, I'm on 2 days a week. I'm on breakfast duty over here. So I'm going to work this out.
So I'm going to show you all now. This pan is warmed up. I'm just going to, let me move this out the way since we're done with that. Move this a little closer if you can see it. Yep. And I'm just going to spray this nonstick pan with some of this. And we're going to get our bread going. And what I like to do is I like to squeeze my bread a little bit, and sometimes you'll see little bubbles will pop up, and that's getting throughout. You really want to get this throughout the bread because it's going to make the whole thing light and airy, and then all that flavor is going through it.
So we just don't want to do one dunk and go. We need to let it marinate just a touch.
Yeah, let it marinate a little bit, then shake off the excess, and then put it in the pan. Let's go to the next one. So let's go on with a few more questions. So we're coming up on midterms.
Yes, this fall, November 2022.
What would you like Black women voters to know?
You know, I think Black women voters need to know that one, when it comes to the Senate, there are 6 sitting United States senators that have said they're not running for re-election, which means those seats are wide open. For example, in North Carolina, the sitting United States senator said, one of them has said he's not running for re-election. So one of the Black women on the ballot who is vying to be one of the nominees, the Democratic nominee, is a Black woman named Sherry Beasley, who is a former judge, and she is on the ballot. There are at least 10, I do believe the number is 12, maybe 13 now, Democrats who are up for re-election. There are 15 Republicans who are up for re-election in the United States Senate. So if you were a Black woman like myself who was very excited to hear that Justice Breyer was retiring, we're very thankful for his service, but we're excited that we now have the opportunity to see a Black woman sitting on the highest court in the land as a Supreme Court justice. I was elated, okay? Last week was a great, when I heard the news, it was a great, great day to be a Black woman with the Juris Doctorate in America, okay? Like, I am not one, but I was happy for my sisters. But I have to say, it is the United States Senate that decides and presides over the confirmation of justices to the Supreme Court. And had folks in Georgia not gone out in droves after the November 2020 election and gone out again in January to elect Jon Ossoff and Reverend Warnock, we would not have such a sure thing right now. We know that we have the votes to get this Black woman nominated and confirmed to the Supreme Court. So I just think Black women all across the country, my sisterlings, we need to be paying the midterm elections, to the Senate, to governor's races. Okay, Stacey Abrams is running for governor in Georgia, but there are other governor's races going on in Michigan, in Wisconsin, in Ohio. Like, go down the line, in Arizona. Folks have to stay vigilant. And if we are so fired up about what's happening at the national level, but we are not paying attention to what is happening locally, we are missing the mark.
Absolutely, because it has consequences. And who would have thought? I mean, individuals in your position understand that it's all connected, but some people think that it's kind of like no man is an island. We're all interconnected. And this fight is a fight that we all have to get on the front line for. Because you may think, oh, what's going on in Georgia doesn't affect me, or what's going on over here. And we see now that it does. Absolutely.
All connected. Again, if Jon Ossoff and Reverend Warnock were not elected to United States Senate in January 2021, I don't know where we'd be right now.
Wow. So we've got this French toast in the pan. It's cooking. Yes. We don't want to manipulate it because we want it to get good and golden. So we're just going to leave it alone. That's probably going to be about 3 minutes on each side.
Now, are we cooking on high heat, medium heat, low heat? Because I am someone that has burned.
Medium high.
Okay.
We want the custard that is inside. We want it to cook. And if we have it too high, the outsides will be cooked, but then the inside won't be. So we have kind of a medium high heat going. So this is something that I want to ask you, and it's not, one of our pre-vetted questions, but, with the voter suppression efforts that are going on in this country, it can be quite disconcerting recognizing that there is a full force effort, and no matter how they try to dress it up and make it seem like they're trying to protect, voting, they're trying to make sure that who's supposed to vote is voting. We know what's going on. We know what's ultimately going on. What do you say to people that feel, like it's rigged? What do you say to people that watch this and say, what's the point?
Again, Jon Ossoff, Reverend Warnock, Black women on the Supreme Court. There were so many things that happened over the course of just this last year that was only possible because millions and millions of people went out during a pandemic.
Yes.
Okay, during a pandemic and cast their vote. Some people voted by mail. Lots of folks across this country, including sister links across the DMV area, across the country, they stood in line in some places for hours. Our sister links in Georgia, they stood in line for hours. I know some links in Wisconsin, they stood in line to cast their ballot. And so it has always been difficult. I'm oftentimes sometimes the youngest person in the room. And so I try to make sure that I do my due diligence and I study history. And in my kitchen, I'm pointing over here right now, there's a photo of Fannie Lou Hamer and Ella Baker, okay, right up here in my kitchen. And Fannie Lou Hamer, if Fannie Lou Hamer and Ella Baker can continue to push forward, Fannie Lou Hamer, there's this amazing story about her that she started the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party because the Mississippi Democratic Party would not sit any Black people. They could not be seated with the Mississippi delegation. She started the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party and pushed and fought for recognition in the Democratic Party. She had to go before this committee in the Democratic National Committee. It's called the Rules and Bylaws Committee. She had to go before the Rules Committee. And there's this amazing story about Fannie Lou Hamer, who pushes her way through the front of the crowd to testify in front of this committee. And all she was armed with was a bad floral print dress and a little white purse. Okay, she had this purse on her arm, honey. And Fannie Lou Hamer walked through there. They tried to deter Fannie Lou Hamer from testifying. The president of the United States himself called a press conference during the time through which she would testify so that the national news networks would not air her commentary because they were threatened. They were so concerned about what she was saying, what it would stir up, not just in the South, but all across this country. Well, Fannie Lou Hamer, she sat down, she put a little white purse on the table, and she testified, honey. She told it like it was. She raised our consciousness and made a call to action. Then she got up, her and her little white purse and that floral dress, and she walked out. Although the president of the United States succeeded in preempting her during that time, what he did not succeed in is silencing her. Every single news network ran her commentary. Every single news network reported on what she said. The papers reported on what she said. And Fannie Lou Hamer was part of starting a movement. So if Fannie Lou Hamer can continue to go out and get it done, okay, in the face of very blatant racism and misogyny and sexism, young people like myself have a due diligence to continue to keep pushing forward. Our presence changes things. Our votes change things. It's powerful. If it wasn't so powerful, they wouldn't be trying to stop us. That's what these laws are really about.
Yes. And you know what's interesting is that just the other night I was watching Women of the Movement, and Black women in particular, we have a strength, and so many stories about change begin with a Black person or Black woman saying, that's it. I'm not afraid. I'm not going to bow. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to speak. And then the scores come behind her, but it's the Black woman who bears that burden in one way or another to move these things forward.
And we all have a responsibility. Those are shoulders. I was at a panel one time, and the great Congresswoman from California, Maxine Waters, was in the audience, and I said something about standing on people's shoulders, and she came up to me afterwards and she said, "You need to get off my shoulders and go do some work." And I said, "You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. We stand on the shoulders of these great women that have come before us, but we have a responsibility to get off of their shoulders and go do some work." So that is what, in the face of this unprecedented voter suppression efforts that are happening right now across the country, that is what it is about. You know, and it's not just, I am very, very upset that folks are trying to cast this issue about voting rights as a Democratic or Republican issue, or this is an American issue. The thing that unites us as Americans is that in America, we hold free and fair elections. In America, you are able to go and cast your ballot for whomever you like, and then those ballots count, they matter, and then the people pick who their elected officials are. And all across this country, folks are trying to disenfranchise Black voters, young voters, Latino voters, voters with disabilities, folks who are of indigenous communities, people who live on reservations, older voters, my more seasoned voters. It is a full-out assault on our democracy on every single front. And if we are not vigilant, we're gonna look up and it's gonna look real different. I know some people out here who have watched all these movies on the Netflix and the Hulu about these dystopian times, and you got to be vigilant. You have to be vigilant. And part of being vigilant is us raising our voices. And I'm so excited to be a part of an organization like the Links who cares about this, paying attention to voting rights.
Absolutely. So in this past year, you've been in rarefied air. That's actually putting it.
I'm going to use that. I'm going to say, you know, Chef said, as Chef said, I've been in rarefied air. Some of y'all occupy very rarefied air.
So what can you tell us have been the highs and the lows of this past year for you?
Oh, without a doubt, the high, and it is a constant high, without a doubt, the high has been serving as the spokesperson for the first woman vice president, first Black woman vice president of the United States of America. every single time Vice President Harris leaves her home, she is making history. And
Mhm.
I was fortunate not only to be witness to it, but I helped communicate it. I told reporters on our final get together before the end of the year last year, and the vice president, second gentleman, came to say hello to the reporters. And before she left, I said, are, your charge is to document history. Every time she leaves the country, she is making history. It is no small thing that a Black woman is representing the United States of America. These world leaders know that when she speaks for the president, and they want to hear from her. And it has just been, it was just been so fulfilling. I'm just so honored to have served as her spokesperson. I think the low, in that same vein, is the way in which the media treated and reported on her, and continues to do so. I spent a lot of time explaining to people why what they're asking or what they're saying is they're only saying it because she's a woman and a Black woman, and I have to ask them would they be saying it if she was a white man. And it is exhausting. But I think the thing that allowed me to continue to push forward is that Madam Vice President, she does not let the detractors deter her. She is very much so focused on the work. And on the days where myself and the press team will be frustrated about some of the coverage, she's like, we're going to do the work. We're going to push forward. We're going to continue to do our jobs. And that's what we're here for. So it was truly, truly an amazing experience.
So given your closeness with her and working with her as you have, what would you say about her that may not be apparent?
First of all, she's an amazing chef. So I'm gonna have to send her personal aide a note today and let her know that I did a class, and she knows I can't cook. So she will be very excited to hear I was in here getting some tips and tricks, and that it was vegan, because she knows how sometimes I get down. She's an amazing chef. She has a garden. Sometimes she talks about her garden when she is out and about, but she has a garden at the vice president's residence. And you know what? She really does. Yes, no. She sometimes she would bring the vegetables in for the staff. And so she would have a bowl of some of the peppers from her garden, and then staff who could come into her outer office in the West Wing and take peppers. And she cares about people, but she's about her business, which is what I really, really appreciate. And the thing that I had never witnessed before in my own professional life, especially growing up in Omaha, Nebraska, there are about 60,000 Black people in the state. Okay, so you do with that what you will. There's a lot of people in Nebraska, like 60,000 of them are Black. So I had not experienced a professional setting where another woman that looked like me was my boss and was in charge of everything, and they brought their whole self to work every day. And she did that. She brought her whole self to work every day. She challenged us to think differently. She pushed the envelope, and she continues to do so. And that was a learning thing for me, all in and of itself. So
beautiful. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are quite a few of us who can say that they have rarely, if ever, worked for someone that looks like them, and then at that level. So our French toast is finished.
Okay, how long did you leave it on there, Chef? How long?
We did about 3-4 minutes on each side. So it's perfectly golden, you ladies can see. And now we're just gonna plate it and dress it up. I'm gonna put like 2 slices on this plate.
Ooh, it looks amazing. The chat is going off, Chef. The chat is like, it looks delicious. People are like, yum. This is everything.
And you can have any kind of topping that you would like on here. I'm going to do some fresh bananas and some fresh berries. I'm going to put some powdered sugar on here. I have some coconut whipped cream that I will grab out of the refrigerator. But
now, is there vegan syrup for this?
Well, syrup is, you're not going to need syrup for this. It really honestly is sweet enough. Let me just grab this one little thing. This is a coconut whipped cream that I love because it does not have any hydrogenated oils. It's non-GMO, it's gluten-free, it's vegan, no high fructose corn syrup. So it is some good stuff. And we're just gonna dress up. You know, I'm gonna put another piece of French toast.
Chef, folks are like, I can smell it through the Zoom. We are looking for samples, please. Yes.
And it's so easy to make. It's so easy to make. We're just gonna pile it on there.
Wow.
We've got our berries. We're just gonna drop our berries on there. And just put some bananas on the plate. Gonna go ahead and put it nice.
Now, where can we find coconut whipped cream? Because I have never heard of this. So this is actually a revelation for me.
And honestly,
really?
a lot of grocery stores now, you can find so many things, but I got this at Sprouts.
Wow, okay.
And now we're just gonna put some pretty berries on there. You know, you eat with your eyes. So we wanna make sure that this not only tastes good, but it looks good as well.
Oh, wow.
A few more berries on here. The French toast is hot, so it's sliding. And then we're just gonna do some just a little bit of sugar on top of it. But this is the kind of thing that you could put several slices of this on the middle of a table for brunch. Does that not look delicious?
This is amazing. This is amazing. Folks are clapping. Let me clap along, okay? Link Amber is like, yes, yes. I'm with you, Link Amber.
It is heart healthy and it's delicious, low in sugar, low in fat, because we didn't use butter, we didn't use eggs, we didn't use heavy cream like you usually would. All of those things we've omitted, but we've managed to still create a beautiful dish that just so happens to be good for you.
Wow, this is amazing.
I would say that the lion's share of your calories is going to come from the bread. So I would say probably about 150 to 175 a slice.
Really? And you're saying we do not need any syrup because of what we did with the custard. We're good on the syrup.
Right, because we have the 2 tablespoons, and then if you use a very ripe banana, that's really sweet. But even if I don't use a banana, it's still sweet because then you've got your fresh fruit and you've got your coconut whipped cream. And one thing I do want to say is that we have the ability to retrain our palates because of all the snack food and junk food and stuff that we've gotten accustomed to eating. We've almost forgotten what fresh fruit is supposed to taste like. We've lost an appreciation for fruit in its natural state. So every 10 days, our taste buds regenerate.
Oh, I didn't know that.
10 days. So what that means is what you're eating frequently is what you're going to desire. So if you start incorporating fresh fruit and vegetables daily, that is what you are going to desire. And you can retrain your palate.
This is revolutionary. I did not think about this. So, okay, I know what I need to do. I need to go get some real berries. I need to go and run on down to the grocery store every 10 days. Wow. Now, Chef, what was the spray you used as well? And I know the links had some questions.
This is a great way also. This is an organic avocado, coconut, and safflower oil spray. This is so important because oftentimes when we cook, we underestimate how much fat we are adding with oils. I know that I'm very guilty of that. I'm like, oh, that's probably a teaspoon. And it's typically like 2 tablespoons. And if you're anybody who is either trying to lose weight or trying to manage your weight, or really just trying to cut down on fat, this is a great way to get enabled to be able to saute and to, things like that without using oil. This is literally 0 calories. It's nothing.
I'm sorry, Chef. 0 calories. What is this called? I'm putting this on the list, the grocery list.
This is Chosen Foods oil spray. And most oil sprays, you go to the grocery store, look for oil sprays and just look at the back and you will see.
Wow, life
Mhm.
changing.
And so, and
Okay.
every once in a while, you will cook something that you might need a little bit more, you might need to drizzle olive oil, and that's fine. But if you're using this as well for those times you don't need it, you're cutting down on fat where you don't need it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I got my marching orders. I need to train my taste buds. So I just need to be diligent for 10 days and I need to get some of this
Yes.
oil spray. Okay.
Yeah. It's a lifesaver. It really, really is. I have been, after 40, your body just doesn't, it holds on to weight. And I've had to make these little changes have made a huge difference. They've really made a huge difference. So anyway, let's see. What else do I want to ask? You are engaged.
Oh, yes, I am. engaged. I'm very
You are
excited.
engaged. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. We're getting married this summer and I just cannot wait.
So how is the planning coming along?
Well, folks were asking me why did I decide to leave the White House? And I said, because I need to be able to plan my wedding. And my planning is coming, it is coming along. So I'm just excited. I'm now having my wedding meetings we're having a destination wedding. So I'm meeting with
Okay.
the wedding planner in Mexico over Zoom. So we're doing this every week. I'm getting the vendors down. So it is a labor of love, but it is working itself out.
So what's the vibe you're going for? Can you speak on that? Is it going to be like tropical, is it chic, resort chic, or what's the
I'm going for resort chic, like glam. So we're having like a glam beach wedding. Our wedding party is coming down for 3 days, and we've got all these events planned for them. And the place where we're getting married, we actually were fortunate enough to get the entire resort because it's a boutique resort. So it's small. There's only maybe 40 villas. Yes, so it's just so I won't have any random people in the back of my pictures. Okay, that was very important. And we're just very excited. And because it is glam beach, how many now? A lot of I have the pleasure of knowing a number of these sister links on the Zoom personally. I see Link Shauna, Francis Wiley. I see Link Tisha here. I see Link Nicole. Okay, greetings, Link Nicole. There are folks I see Link Zenithia here, a lot of ladies from my chapter. And I have had people ask me, okay, for this destination wedding, do you have a dress code? Yes, I do. It is beach formal. And people didn't know what beach formal was, Chef. So what I did is I made a Pinterest link and I put photos up, okay, of what was beach formal for couples. What is beach formal for you, a single person coming? And I have added that to my wedding website under the frequently asked questions page. There should be no questions about what we're looking for come wedding day.
And they've got plenty of time because if it's in June.
And they have time. It is in August. So in August, we're going to go to Mexico and get married. Yes, in August. And in July, we're hoping to have a larger celebration the month before here in DC. So our friends and family and some of our former colleagues can come. My Link sisters can come. So we are looking forward to that. So I'm kind of planning 2 events in the next couple of months.
Okay. So is the groom deeply involved, or is it kind of like, sweetheart, do you? I'll be there. Do you?
He is involved. There's some things he just, he doesn't want to be involved with, but he cares very much so about the ambiance and the soiree. He found the venue actually that we're getting married at. Oh, wow. So yes, he did. He was like, this is the place we have to go see. He saw it. It was amazing. And he is the former, I live in Washington, D.C., obviously, and he's the former director of the Mayor's Office of Nightlife and Culture. So he was in charge of everything after 6 p.m., restaurants, bars, music. Yes, they called him the Nightmare. And the Nightmare cares very much so about the entertainment aspects of all of this. Yes, so he is on all things entertainment. He found our actual wedding invitations were passports. And they came in this very fabulous envelope. He found the vendor and we designed it together. So I am fortunate that he is very engaged here.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yes.
So there was just a question in the chat about the coconut cream. You can buy, there is a product by Nature's Charm that is a coconut whipped cream in a can. You can purchase that and you can whip it up yourself. But what I purchased is just ready to go. So if you want to take it to the next level and do your own, you can. It's called Nature's Charm. I can actually go to the refrigerator and grab it because I love, if I always tell people if I could have a restaurant, it would be called Coconut and Cashews. I keep the coconut whipped cream in the refrigerator so I can whip it up at any time. And yes, it's great to stay away from processed food. So, but that's amazing. The nightmare. Wow. So I
yes.
see this in Essence Magazine probably. And what's the other website that showcases fabulous African-American weddings? Manalucci, is it Manalucci?
Oh. We are hoping to hit the streets with it. I found my dress earlier. Yes, it's amazing. So I'm having a good time planning. In terms of this chef experience has been very inspiring because at the wedding venue where the resort where we're getting married, they actually offer some cooking experiences. So you can do, yes, they offer a guacamole and a margarita. So we're looking this has really inspired me that we definitely need to make sure we do that for our guests during that weekend because they will love it. And my fiance is a self-proclaimed chef. He really, I can take no credit for what is happening in this kitchen in here. Okay, this is all this man. He made some banging enchiladas just last night that we had. Yes, so I'm gonna take my stab at doing this French toast for him because I'm always looking for ways to impress. And
this will do it.
Yes.
Somebody asked me about the flavor of the tofu. You don't taste it at all. Anybody who knows tofu knows that it doesn't taste like anything to begin with. You have to really work at it to give it flavor, so it doesn't do anything. And I'm going to grab this can, and then I'm going to ask you, though, as I go to get the can, COVID has basically upended so many things that we did typically. I have a girlfriend who used to go to the spa weekly, and she was saying, gosh, she's like, I'm just dying to go to the spa so I can just relax and, how have you addressed self-care during the pandemic? What were things that you did before? Have you been able to continue to do them during the pandemic, or what are you doing?
That is a good question. My self-care would really be my Saturdays or Sundays at the nail shop. And so I have an appointment later on this evening there actually, because these lashes need a refresh. And where I go and I like to get everything done. When I go, I do lashes, I do my nails, I get a pedicure, I get my eyebrows done. And I've been going to the same shop for about 6 years now. So they know me. Sometimes they will stay out late, open a little later for me there. And it is, they give me my space in there. They make sure sometimes if I have a call, they let me go downstairs and they have a spa area downstairs. And that has been really, yes, it's very lovely in Washington, D.C. But when COVID hit, obviously they closed for a while. They, like other small businesses across the country, that's a service that you could not have done safely, frankly, unless everybody had been vaccinated. So now that we've got the vaccines and whatnot, I'm excited that they've been able to stay open. It's safe. They've got the safety protocols. Everybody's wearing the shields. They've got, the plastic. It feel very safe in there. But that has been my self-care, if you will. And then I just try to spend time with my fiance and my good girlfriends. I think it's great that COVID has made me work really harder to be in community. So where we used to be able to go to events and see folks, you got to work a little harder in COVID to see people. And I think that's still true today. And I am trying to be very intentional about, spending time with the friends and family that, folks that I love.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And that's been a lot of what I have done as well. You made it much more intentional. Your interactions became much more intentional because in many ways, you're like, look, if I'm spending time with you, I'm putting a lot of trust that you have been doing what you should have been doing to keep us both safe. So I'm not just letting anybody in this in this circle. It got really, really tight. And a lot of us learned what our relationships were truly made of because of COVID.
So it has made a difference.
I'm sorry?
It has made a difference. It also made a difference in these waistlines, honey, which is why the vegan cooking is very helpful.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. So this is the coconut whipped cream. This is the can.
Oh, wow.
You can buy from Nature's Charm. And you literally put this in the refrigerator, let it get good and cold. You scoop it out, you get your hand blender and blend it. You can sweeten it however you want to. You can add a squeeze of lime juice to give it some brightness. You can put some lemon zest or lime zest in it, all kinds of things. But this is a great product. And then there was just another question. You don't have to use banana. I just use banana to give it another little extra flavor, but you can make this and omit the banana and it will be just as delicious for those that are asking. So I think that they're going to open up the floor to our lovely link ladies that may have some questions for Symone or for me. Are we ready to do that? I think we're ready. Okay.
I think so.
Okay, Anne has a question. Anne, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. I want to ask this question, but if it's an uncomfortable question, then please feel free not to respond. But I just wanted to hear briefly your thoughts about Senators Manchin and Sinema. Any thoughts on what their real agenda is, or just any thoughts at all about them?
Yeah, I think this is a great question. Look, we hear a lot in the national discussion, if you will, especially here in the DMV area about Senator Joe Manchin and Senator Kristen Sinema, two Democrats who, depending on who you talk to, they're standing firmly in their beliefs or they're blocking the Democratic agenda. My thought is that, look, Senator Manchin has been a Democrat in West Virginia for a very long time, and he has consistently won when national Democrats and the President Biden have lost their state. So he is a part of the coalition and an important part of the coalition. I think folks have to all figure out how to work together. When it comes to Senator Sinema, I think that there is a lot of the criticism that is lobbed at her, frankly, that is very valid. You know, with Senator Manchin, you at least know kind of, you know where he stands, you know where his baselines are. In general, he is consistently in telling you that he just ain't for that. And Senator Sinema, some of the criticism about her has been that you don't necessarily know where she stands. We don't know where her baseline is. We don't know what it is that she will support. We kind of know what she's against, but we can't consistently know what she's for. And I think the Democrats in Arizona specifically have been very frustrated by that. And that is what really led up to the build of the Arizona Democratic Party censuring her just earlier this year. So I think that what is happening for local people know their members of Congress best, especially their United States senators. And if your local folks are feeling so frustrated and that they want to do something so publicly that they know will create a conversation, that's something we should be paying attention to.
Okay, thank you very much. And I just want to say congratulations, and this has been an enjoyable session. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Lincoln.
All right.
Yanel Moore, we have a question from Yanel Moore.
Yes. Hi.
Now, Link Yanel, let me tell y'all something. Link Yanel has been in the chat, and I identify with her because Link Yanel said that her husband is also the chef at her house. So I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am. He's from Louisiana, so he can
cook
anything. Hi, thanks, Symone. It's great to see you again. My question is, one of the constant criticisms we hear about the Democratic Party is that we don't have a message. Do you think that it's that we don't have a message, or are we not doing a good enough job relaying the message?
I think it's the latter. We're not doing a great enough job relaying the message. So many amazing things happened last year that only happened because the Democrats were in charge of the House, the Senate, and the White House. The sheer fact that the difference between this past holiday season and the holiday season in 2020 was vaccines. We had vaccines, we had mechanisms and tools to detect COVID, and we knew we could do something about it. Not as many people, if they have been vaccinated and subsequently boosted, were dying from the people were not dying. To be very clear, the majority of people who were in the hospital and those who died from COVID-19 were unvaccinated. The numbers have gone down, and that is solely due to the work that this administration has in fact done. I mean, the list goes on, the passage of the American Rescue Plan, the passage of the bipartisan infrastructure law. I drove over a pothole the other day on the interstate, and how many of y'all have been stuck in the tunnel somewhere? Well, these infrastructure projects, how many folks saw the recent news about a bridge that collapsed in Pittsburgh? The money coming from the infrastructure bill is going to refresh this infrastructure all across the country, so our commutes are shorter, so we're not tearing up these wheels on our cars. All of these things are only in place because of the work that happened over the last year. So I think, look, some tough talk is that these Democrats got to get it together. Okay, lots have happened, but if you do not find a way to talk about it, if you just not even find a way, you just have to tell people what you've done and then get their feedback on how it has impacted their lives. I think that will make a difference. And there's still time, right? You know, the polls go up and down. The polls are not looking very good right now, but there is time to turn those polls around if they do the work.
Thank you so much. I agree.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I was just saying, thank you. I agree with her. We need to control the narrative.
Absolutely. So there was a question that came through about you managing your heart health, given the amount of stress that you're under. Symone, what can you tell us about that?
Well, you know, I really want to work out more, or at least walk. You know, I know that the importance and the links, obviously this is, you know, Red Dress Saturday, so much about the importance of not only managing what we put in our bodies, but how we use our bodies. You know, if we're spending our time, you know, I'm sitting here, I've been sipping my healthy champagne here, but I also need to make sure I'm going out, taking my time, and I need to walk. I need to get on the treadmill. We have to be active. And that is something that I am continuing to work on. And then sometimes we just got to put this down. We need to put these phones down. These phones are stressing us out, ladies. The social media is stressing us out. Put it down, turn it off. We just need to step away and do something that makes us happy, because we all know the stories of so many professional women, so many Black women who have had heart issues. People, you know, who have you're like, they're very healthy. I see them every day, and they've dropped dead. They've ended up in the hospital. They've ran themselves ragged, and you know, I don't want to be on anybody's hospital bed. So I listen to the warning signs. Oh, someone asked me, what is the name of my healthy champagne? It's called Sherilyn. Do y'all know that Isaiah Thomas has a champagne?
No.
Yes, Isaiah Thomas has a champagne. He is the only Black owner of a champagne in the United States that from growing to getting in this glass, okay? From the whole, he owns the entire process, yes. And the thing I like about this is that it is low calorie, so it is good and good for you. So it comes in regular and it comes in a rosé. So we love the Sherilyn. Oh, yes, Sherilyn. What is it? CHERULIN, Sherilyn. I love it. We have cases of it here because I like the champs, but you know, I want some healthy champs. I'm trying to, you know, trim that waistline.
Exactly. So we have a question from, I believe, Lynn Laval. Is that the name, Lynn Laval?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
What do you think about the growing criticism of the DNC chair, and what, if anything, he can do to improve his status as it relates to the midterms?
So that's an interesting question, Lincoln. You know, I think that there's a lot of palace intrigue running around here. I feel there's a lot of palace intrigue in the White House. There's palace intrigue about what's going on in the Democratic National Committee. Yeah. And as the vice president refers to it, this is high class gossip. And I would like to agree with her here. And I think that instead, I think that people really need to be focused on the work, whether it's the Democratic Party apparatus or even the Republican Party apparatus. They got some real issues, CC Donald Trump. So I really think that people need to focus on the work and preparing for these midterm elections and figuring out how to harness this energy. You know, I'm gonna go back to the Supreme Court. We were all so elated and so excited about a Black woman becoming the next Supreme Court justice. The Senate is directly tied to that. So How are Democrats going to plan to use this energy to organize for the midterm elections? Are they planning for it? I don't know. I don't work for them now, but if I did, I would be planning. So they need to get down to the business and get to the work.
Okay. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Do we have any other questions for Symone?
Well, while we're waiting, Chef, I forgot to mention, I did not see link Shauna Watley on here when we first started, but I just like to know she is also from Omaha, Nebraska. She has Nebraska roots. So you have two Black women from Nebraska, specifically from Omaha, right here on this Zoom.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. Represent Nebraska. Are you all the Cornhuskers? Is that what you all are? Is Nebraska?
Yes. Okay. Go Big Red. Yes.
Okay. Well, I think that we, do you have any other shout outs besides the Nebraska link that you want to?
I just want to thank all of the sister links for just getting together and doing this. I want to thank you, Chef. I know this is a collaborative effort, but I know I have learned so much. I think from the chat that I'm looking at, the sister links have learned so much, and this has really been amazing and engaging. And I've taken some tips that I can incorporate into my everyday life, far past just the French toast. So I just really appreciate you. And I think I speak for all of the ladies of the Links Incorporated when we say thank you for what you do. And we see you and your fabulousness on a regular basis. So we just appreciate this time with you today.
And I'm making a standing offer that if you are ever, because I live in Tampa, if you're ever in the Tampa area, or when I'm up in DC, I know you probably have a million DMs that you get, but I would love to cook a meal for you. I would love to do that.
I'm taking you up on this offer, Chef. You've said nothing but a word.
I would love to do that. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. This is my second time hosting something with the lovely Link ladies, and I'm honored once again that I had that opportunity. Ms. Sanders, again, you do us proud.
Thank you.
You do. There are so many young people out there not doing us proud. When somebody like you is up front for us, well, we thank God for what you have done for us as women, as Black women, for our community at large. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, sisters. I'll see you all soon.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.